How are you handling the increased level of energy that's coming through? This is more than just the crystals. There's a lot going on. We're being accelerated so intensely. You never know what's going to happen next. I guess maybe I figured come November 3rd, we might experience something noticeable as we move from the Mayan calendar's 6th night, which we've been in for almost a year now. Each one of these lasts 360 days on the 8th level. You know, the South America, you find the 9-level pyramids. We're on the 8th level, and spring of next year, we move to the 9th. But meanwhile, upcoming is the 7th day. And we've been in the night or the yin energy for a while now. And so moving into the day energy will be different. It's the yang, and it's more a receiving of energy, you know, coming in. So who knows? Who knows? It'll be fun looking back on this, folks, from our fully uplifted state in the higher dimensions, where we'll be able to see in the background all the things that are going on. But just now, part of our challenge is, of course, dealing with our crap coming up, and it will. As light intensifies, it's flushing it out. And as we see it, as it meets with the light, this darkness, it's shattered, it's consumed, and it's gone. But it's still requiring a bit of our processing, at least as far as our awareness goes. Now, I didn't know if I was just going to talk to you. I have a journal picked out that in case I was supposed to read. I told you I wake up to a new world every day. How about every minute? Well, maybe not quite that much. But anyway, one of the things, I was just watching a Muji video. I was looking for something to settle me down, to help anchor me. And he has a peacefulness and a focus that helps to do that. And what he said really reminded me of something. We're used to making effort, to setting goals, to setting intent. And I talk a lot about that, but we're merging and morphing now with higher self. And as we do so, the landscape, the rules get quite different. And I don't think anybody's anchored into much of anything as all this is going on. But from what I can perceive at this point, if we're exerting effort, if we're trying, in other words, maybe we need to back up, sit down in heart, and just rest a bit and just watch for a while. The best things happen with no effort at all. Now, if and as the outside really is nothing but a reflection of the inside of us, then it's really quite obvious that there's no need to exert any effort out there. That all effort to change would be going on the inside. And then, I mean, it doesn't take any effort for the mirror to reflect your image back to you. It's just there. Well, how about if we look out at the world, which seems to be out there, and realize, okay, it's out there to the extent that a mirror is. And it's reflecting our own image back to us. Now, the first thing we have to do is expand to take that in. We're not used to thinking of the self in terms of trees and leaves and grass and dirt and sky and sun and solar systems and such. And so we have the vestiges of being taught and trained that we're a body mind, waiting to be cast off, waiting to be looked at, and for us to say, ha, what a joke, as if, you're not that body. And we're going beyond now saying, okay, that's something you wear, something you put on like a suit of clothes. That's a useful and a very useful adaptation and understanding as we're moving into higher consciousness. You're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. This works quite well, and we can go a good way with it. But at a certain point, that doesn't work either, because we expand even beyond that. And so I told you about having the sense as I walk through the house, I'm no longer disconnected or unplugged from the outside. My awareness has expanded, and it's not anything I did. It just happens, okay? We do the inner work, and it's reflected on the outer. But the best of it is if we're observing. Because when we're not observant, that gives mind the full right to run the show. And we become not unconscious, but we sleepwalk still. And so as we're waking up now, we're not fully in dream time anymore. We have some awareness. Well, let's focus in on that. But my work at this point, or my awareness, is to be alert for where I'm making effort at something and to recognize the falseness of that. Effort implies that you haven't got what you want, that you aren't yet what you want to be. And that kind of thing, it pulls time into the mix. It says I have to do something in order to get or become something. And that whole premise is false, because you are that. There's nothing you're not. Everything is fractal in this hologram, and everything contains everything else. It's mind is ill-equipped to handle this, and so mind, instead of becoming the leader, becomes the student as we move along. And from where I am, which isn't completion of anything or anywhere, I never mean to imply that, but from where I am, I can say that mind becomes cooperative in this. It watches for a while, and even though it doesn't understand the things that are happening, it quits chiming in to edit so much, because it's seen good things happen again and again. It's seen good outcomes from this, what it sees as walking around blindfolded, because you're going forward into experience absent the understanding that comforts the mind. And so, there's stages that we go through, and the first one is just massive fear, and it's the mind freaking out. I'm losing control. It's the end. I don't know what to do. But it moves on, and so I'm to the point in the place where it's cooperative with me, and it just does a lot of watching. I guess it sits around and observes with me. I don't really know. But I want to speak out against effort, because there's a beingness that you are, that I am, that just is. And there's no effort required in just being. You simply are, and you shine, you radiate like a sun. That's just what is. And I don't think the sun's pushing out the rays, you know, gotta really exert some effort here. I mean, come on. And I think maybe it's just about as ridiculous for us when we're exerting effort. So my suggestion would be to look for the mind there, to maybe make the assumption that that's mind at work, because you are that. And a lot of what's required is two-pronged here. It's being, just being, giving up doing, and it's acceptance. Acceptance of what is. Now, really, really important is seeing. Seeing is the key that unlocks a lot of doors. And if we want to get good at seeing, then that will lead you to recognize that it's your thoughts and beliefs that get in the way. That's what puts the blinders on. We have belief systems around time, for instance. We just have it drilled into us that things take time and that's non-transcendable. And when your basic premise is all wrong, it's like building a house on sand or in a marsh or something. It's worthless. The effort you put into it is you're just twiddling your thumbs, you know, you're not accomplishing anything. Except a learning process. We're always learning. So even when we do stupid things, you know, give yourself credit for doing your best. It's only with hindsight that everything's 20/20. Right now, we haven't yet manifested the fullness of the vision that we are and that we have. That's 360 degrees and that's unlimited. We can see auras and energies and all kinds of things, and this is dawning on us as our physicality is being upgraded as we move toward ascension. I really feel for the people who are sitting back waiting for this whole 2012 concept. It's a big concept. It's interesting and all that, but even if you study the history of the calendar and of time and of clocks and the way that's been messed with down through the ages, we don't really know what time it is. I mean, come on. It's such an artificial construct anyway, this Gregorian calendar thing that we've been using. It doesn't translate to anything that we can take off planet. Because, you know, beings on Mars take a different amount of time to go around the sun, and so their year and their seasons and everything are different. And so it is with all of the other heavenly bodies. And so we've got something that's a real nuts and bolts thing, and we're leaving nuts and bolts behind. We're leaving 3D and our current concepts of time in the dust. So I guess I just wanted to say, try not exerting any effort. I think you'll find underneath there a feeling of not deserving to just be. And just look at that. Just watch it. My suggestion is just be and follow your bliss. Move toward that which brings you joy. And just be in joy. And as you look at yourself, you'll find all kinds of things cropping up and screaming and at the wrongness of that, and that's not, and you'll hear it and you can watch it and say, yeah, right, you know, and just keep watching. As we see things, they're disempowered. Things that are hiding in the shadows, the spook show, are only frightening because they're not visible. Once they're seen into and seen through, they just go away. And maybe that's all I have to say. Yeah, I guess so. Love is us. See you soon.